Hello and welcome back for another episode of Knitting Out Loud. My name is Emily. Today I have one finished object, which you'll see in just a minute, and a new cast on, and then just an update on my third and final whip. I'm drinking a latte from Olympia Coffee. I treated myself to a coffee shop stop this morning, so I hope that you have something to drink and something to work on, and here we go. Yay! Okay, so this is the first time I'm actually trying it on all the way finished. I love it. I love it so much. I'm so happy that it's done. I'm actually gonna wear it today. I was thinking before I finished it that actually let me back up. Okay, so the last time you saw this, it had everything but the sleeves. And I did a mid-project block. No, I didn't. After I finished the body, I blocked it to see if it would grow because it was super short. And then I added the hood. And then I needed to add the sleeves. So that's where we left it last time you saw this. And then I really procrastinated picking up the sleeves. I don't know why. Every time I get to that point in a project where it's like I have to pick up stitches to move along, I just end up putting it away for like 4 days and not looking at it. I think maybe next time I do something like this, before I finish the finishing, I need to go ahead and pick up the next thing so that it's ready and waiting for me, because for some reason that is just like a complete mental block. So I think I waited 4 days after I finished the hood to pick up the sleeves. And then as soon as I picked them up on the first sleeve, I finished it in a day. It was so quick. It was so fast. And I should have just done it a lot sooner. And then I got the second one on. So the way that I did this is I actually still have my stitch markers on here. So I got through all of the decreases, which I'm not convinced that I did those correctly, but they fit. The sleeves fit fine, and they're the same length, and they're going to be perfect. But I got through all the decreases, and then I think I did one more pattern repeat with no decreases, and I kept it on the needles for both sleeves. So I got both to the same spots. I had 2 separate balls of yarn still attached, and then I blocked it again for a final block, and because I wanted to see how much the sleeves would grow so that they weren't wildly long, but so that I got them to the right spot before I did the ribbing cuffs. And they were pretty close. So the first stitch marker is where they were whenever I blocked them for the last time. And then once that dried, it took a couple days. So actually yesterday, I went from here to here on the rest. So they were just a little bit short, so I think I added 2 more repeats. Yeah, this is where what does this mean? No. What do these stitch markers mean? Okay, this is the last decrease. I marked the last decrease because I wanted to make sure that I progressed, that I got the same amount on each sleeve after the decreases were done. Yes, so that they matched. So I had marked every decrease on the sleeves with a stitch marker, and then I took all those off before I blocked and left just the stainless steel one because I didn't want to have to worry about, I don't know, all that metal. So this first stitch marker marks the last decrease round. The second stitch marker is where it was when I blocked it. Yes, that's correct. And then I was, as you can see, I was really close. So I had just 2 pattern repeats after that I added before I moved into the ribbing. And then I bound off. I did not do the tubular bind off. I didn't do the tubular cast on either. I just didn't want to mess with it. And so I did a German twisted cast on, and then I just bound off in pattern. And I'm so happy with this. I have not finished weaving in my ends yet. Well, I might have 1 or 2 ends to finish weaving in. I think I did most of them, but I haven't gone back and trimmed them all off yet. This is literally fresh off the needles, as in I finished it 5 minutes ago. And I'm wearing it for the first time. So I think next steps for this are to finish weaving in all my ends. And I do think, looking at it now, that I should go back and just block these little wrist parts. I'm not going to reblock the whole thing because that's just going to take too long. But I think that getting these last couple pattern repeats will just make it look really nice and relaxed and lovely. So I'm just absolutely thrilled. Okay, what is next? So my next update is on my Bigfoot socks. I finished sock 1, and this has kind of just been my on-the-go / meeting sock knitting because it's just plain vanilla. So my kids are it's spring break this week. My kids are at bike camp, so one day I had some time in my car in the morning, and I was able to get this one finished off, and then I got the second one moved over into this project bag. And during an appointment this week, I was able to get through the short row heel on the second sock. So now this is set up for me to just knit the foot, and we are going to celebrate the end of bike camp by going to the movies this afternoon. So I'm hoping to make some good progress on the foot of this sock today, and next time this will be a finished object. The yarn is from Diamond Yarns. It is their Bigfoot colorway in the Chester sock base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. That's pretty much it for these. US size 1, I did 20 rounds, knit 2, purl 2 for the cuff, 60 rounds for the leg, and I don't remember what I did for the foot. I think I do 60 rounds for the leg, 60 rounds for the foot for my size sock. Just plain vanilla. Oh, and I was able to do the Kitchener for this in my car without an embroidery needle, thanks to a tutorial from Nitty Natty. I remember that she had done a YouTube short, I believe, showing you how to do that, and that was super helpful and came in handy so that I could just get this finished off in the car. So that's that. This is going to be a pretty short episode, but I wanted to get it filmed because I have to run here in just a few minutes. So last up, this is a new project since last episode, but I have talked about it many a time, so we all knew it was coming. I have my snaps all mismatched here. This is in a bag by Della Q. This is a great bag. It's all see-through mesh, and it has this huge pocket on the inside, and this pull-out pocket too, which could really be a second small project bag for socks, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. The thing that sold me on this was all these snaps along the top. I don't knit a ton of color work, but all these snaps at the top can double as a way to separate your strands for color work, which I just think is really cool, a nice way to stay organized without everything becoming a tangled mess. And then it also has this clip-in pair of scissors. If I can be smarter than the keychain here. Yeah, it has this nice little pair of scissors. So super fun. I haven't used it too much, so I'm excited to be putting it to use for this project. Oh my gosh, okay. All right, so this is, make sure I get it from both ends here, Baby's Favorite Blanket. This is a free pattern by Purl Soho, and the yarn is also by Purl Soho. It is their Witch Hazel base, and I am using the green tea colorway, which is this lighter green, and then pistachio green is the darker color. Hopefully you can see this here. If I stand up, it will show. So I think I'm over halfway done at this point because I switched colors, and they both, pattern calls for 7 balls of each color. So I think that I am gonna be done with this pretty soon. This is a super easy pattern. I mean, it's all garter stitch. It's just a double center decrease along the middle. And it's a free pattern. The only thing that I have realized, I realized it whenever I was already into this darker green, is that I'm using the wrong needle size. I'm using 10.5 and I think it calls for US 10. So 6.5 millimeter is what I'm using. So we're just gonna go with it because I'm not going to start over. Is there anything else about this? Yeah, very simple pattern. It's so soft. It does not even look knit. It's actually just wild to me that this is a knit blanket, but it's gonna be so soft and cozy, and I'm excited to have this one done. I was thinking about using this to take to the movies for my plain knitting because it is all garter stitch, but the yarn is it's not tricky, it's just hard to see, and I think it would be kind of hard to see mistakes and fix mistakes both, because it kind of just like tangles together and blends together and would not be obvious to me, which is a good thing for the final product, but I would like to know if I mess something up, and that's a little easier to see on a sock to go back and fix. So I didn't want to have to worry about not being able to catch a mistake and then getting too far beyond it to go back and fix it easily. So I'm just going to keep this for home. I have been working on it a lot in the evenings when we are watching TV and that thing. And I think that's really all I have to share today. I have wound up all the yarn for my soft current tee, so I'm excited to get that going next. And then I am thinking about the cloud break tee still, which is also on my queue for spring knitting plans, which I'm doing pretty good with. Now that I didn't realize how quickly I would be able to make this blanket, so I'm feeling a lot better about maybe accomplishing my goals. But I think I'm going to pivot on a couple of those plans. I might be changing the second blanket pattern if I do a second blanket. I found another one that I liked that has the alphabet on it. So not dragon themed, but I think it would be really cute to make. And I had also talked about using stash yarn for the cloud break tee, and I might have a different idea in mind for that. So we shall see, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.